What's up, guys? It's your boy Benton. I'm here today to give you the most quickest hitting video of what is cryptocurrency, the history of it, and why should you be using it. Very important stuff. So let's get right into it. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Fuck yeah, bro. Let's do this.
The most basic definition of cryptocurrency is a digital form of money. Think about your PayPals, your Cash Apps, your Venmos. It operates in many similar fashions, but it's just built on fundamentally different philosophies. To truly understand what cryptocurrency is, we have to ask ourselves, what is money? And what is the definition of money? By definition, money is a medium of exchange in the form of coins and banknotes. Think of your dollar bills, your quarters, your euros, whatever you use in your country. Now we must understand why and how did we start using this money and where did it come from? How did money get started? When we were still nomadic people roaming the earth in the early BC times, bartering was the form of exchange. I'm cold, I have a chicken. You're hungry and have fur. Let's trade these items of value and call it a day. That's essentially what bartering is. It still happens today in a lot of areas around the world. This later progressed into seashells. So seashells became valuable at a certain point in time. And people used this to trade items. After seashells, it became precious metals, things like copper, gold, silver, these shiny objects that were rare. Traders and merchants started bringing them around the world, and everybody wanted some because it was a scarce, rare resource that not a lot of people had. So after several hundred years, empires started minting these precious metals and standardizing the way they could be traded. So it was a certain amount weight coin with a stamped leader's face on it with an engraving that read the empire's name. Whatever it was, that became the standard of its time. So these gold coins were used in trade. Fast forward to 1816, England started issuing out banknotes tied to the value of gold. The U.S. adopted a similar policy to this. And in 1930, the world found itself in one of the greatest economic depressions of modern time. To get the United States out of the depression, FDR enacted Executive Order 6102. And this forbade the hoarding of gold coin and gold bullion and gold certificates within the United States. It made it illegal to own gold, and you can face up to 10 years and or a $10,000 fine if you didn't hand over your gold to the government. So for every troy ounce of gold that you handed into the government, you received a note stating that it was worth, in today's day and time, about $400. Now a troy ounce is just a unit of measurement. Imagine it as a gold bar in your head. So after this was enacted, the U.S. government created a monopoly around gold and owned the world's largest gold reserve. And after snatching up all the gold, the U.S. government stated that the troy ounce was now worth $691. This immediately created a huge profit for the U.S. government or reserve, however you want to look at it. And that money that you got originally for that troy ounce, which was the $400 the government gave you, was now worth less. So that same gold bar, imagine a gold bar that you're getting. You hand it in, and they say, great, here's this piece of paper. It says, this is $400. You come back a week later, and you try to get your gold bar back, and they tell you, sorry, sir, you're short. And you're like, what the hell? So think about it like that. For the government, it's a great thing. They made a shit ton of money. For you as a U.S. citizen, not so good. That dollar was now not worth as much. Cue the Nixon administration, an event known as Nixon shock in 1971. This was the official death of the gold standard in the U.S. Notes were no longer tied to the value of gold. So what happened was a group of about 10 countries got together, they had a powwow, and they sat down and they all agreed, okay, instead of tying our currencies to gold, let's just use the U.S. dollar and tie our currencies and use the U.S. dollar as a standard baseline. Part of this agreement involved that the U.S. had to devalue their currency even more. So it was about, I think, 8% at the time. Let's rewind. The gold bar that you handed into the government originally, forcibly to the government, was worth $400. Now that gold bar is worth $691. Now they're saying devalue at about 8%, which brings us right around, let's just call it for number's sake, $750. So It immediately just created huge profits for the government once again. This is what we call the beginning of fiat currency. So what is fiat currency? Fiat in Latin means let it be done. Fiat is an authoritative command or order. So by order, the government is telling us this is the dollar's worth because we say it is. And that's what all our governments around the world say as well, is because they say it is, not because the dollar is actually worth a certain amount. The governments tell us what it's worth. One day it could be $400, the next day it could be $750. Who knows? I don't care, but this is an authority and I'm telling you it's worth. Fiat currency, that's a good way to think of it. By order, if the government is telling us what something is worth, how can we prove what it is really worth? Markets can dictate that. Why is there such a big problem with this? Why is there such a big problem with the government telling us what our currency is worth? Well, what happens when it takes a wheelbarrow full of US dollars to buy a couple cheeseburgers at McDonald's? Do you see a problem with that? What happens if another group of countries come together and they decide, hey, we're no longer going to use the US dollar as the standard currency across the world. We're going to use the Chinese yuan or the Mexican peso, whatever that may be. What happens then? What happens when the Federal Reserve continuously and endlessly prints trillions upon trillions of dollars? Do any of those raise any big question marks for you? I think it should. Simple economics tell us the more of something that is in supply, the less that it has value. So if you think about it, think about the US dollar. If we're printing trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars in seconds, we are flooding the marketplace with US dollars. So inherently, it becomes less valuable because it's not scarce. These are the questions that you should be thinking about, is why do we believe in what we do today? And how did we get to where we are today? And is there a better way? And I think if you can answer those questions, you will see that cryptocurrency will be the pathway forward and why you should be getting involved with cryptocurrency. Now, I'm not sitting here saying you gotta move all your money into this market. There's a lot of risk associated with the cryptocurrency marketplace. Still, is it getting better? Yes. Is there a day where it will be fine-tuned and very close to perfect? I believe so. But just understand that many early adopters in new revolutions are typically the beneficiaries of the greatest shifts in wealth throughout history. Right now, we are at the precipice of very beginning stages of cryptocurrency becoming part of the main stage. So just understand, there are risks involved with cryptocurrency. There is no bank that you can call up if there's a scam or you get hacked or anything like that. So understand, you need to secure your cryptocurrency in many secure ways. So understand those risks. But the biggest overarching thing I could tell you about cryptocurrency is that we are taking our power back. We are taking all of our money out of the financial legacy system with all these big banks and big conglomerates and the government and all of that stuff. If we can take our money out of it and put it into this new ecosystem where there are no big central authorities telling us where we can send money and where we can't, that is the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency. You may hear that a lot. People say decentralized. What does that mean? That means that people can transact freely amongst themselves without an intermediary, without that middleman, without the Venmo saying, hey, I'm going to hold on to this for 48 hours and then I'll send it over to your friend. Or, hey, I want to withdraw from my account. It's going to take me 36 hours to get that from PayPal. Whatever that may be, there is no middle person. That middle person is code. And all you need to know is that everything happens through this code and the way it's set up. And those are the basic underlying things that you need to know, because as an end user and as a person new to the space, you don't have to understand all the behind the scenes development and blah, blah, blah. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost. Understand the theories and the concepts of why cryptocurrency works and what it was created for. It was created for us as people to take financial sovereignty of our power and our money. And governments do not want you to find the flaws in their system. They want you to keep their money in that system. So if there could be a mass exodus, the more people that participate in cryptocurrencies, the more value they will hold, because the way cryptocurrencies work is that their value is dictated by the marketplace. So cryptocurrencies are inherently scarce. There's no Federal Reserve printing trillions upon trillions of money. Now, granted, there are projects that will continue to create a more market supply. But if you go check these out, go to CoinMarketCap, go to Lunar Crush, you will see market supply. See how much of that currency is put into the market. You'll also see how much of that currency can actually be created. That is one of the greatest parts about this. Cryptocurrency is like the precious metal of the internet. Think about it like that. Just like when they first started finding that on this earth, we're just now finding cryptocurrency, and the traders are traveling the globe right now, and they're spreading the gold and the copper in digital form. Think about it like that. And it's scarce and it's rare. You hear it and it's kind of mystical. You don't know what it is, but everyone talks about it. It's this shiny object that's magical money that you send through the internet. I'm sure that's what the first people on Earth were thinking when they first saw that chunk of gold in their hand, or that little nugget. Like, this is amazing. This is scarce. It is rare. The same thing applies to cryptocurrency. So think about that. Cryptocurrencies are scarce, and which is another reason as to why you should participate. I will leave you with this one nugget. The gold market is $7.3 trillion. So that means all the gold in the world, $7.3 trillion. Everyone's invested in it. Banks hold on to it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 7.3. The cryptocurrency market is about 237 billion in total. It means all the coins put together, all the people that have put their money into it. $237 billion. 7 trillion, 237. We are at the very, very beginning stages, the first 10 years of this thing. 7 trillion. And this has been over hundreds of thousands of years. All the gold that's been accumulated on Earth. Okay, you're trying to tell me that $237 billion, the market for cryptocurrency, is not going to get to that level, and very quickly, we're talking about probably within the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, all you early adopters, hats off to you. If you don't understand anything, feel free to shoot me a DM, send me a comment. BenTyaun27 on Twitter, Instagram. I'm always trying to post on YouTube. I love you guys, my newbies. I got love for you. Over and out.